Don't look under the internet.
I only see one. Can you pull it up on your phone then? I
mean, I have it pulled up right here.
Yeah, only one is popping up for me. Anyway, should we start this ball game?
I guess so.
No.
Hello!
Okay,
Welcome.
what is all over my fingies now?
Hello and welcome to Don't Look Under the Internet, a NPR broadcast.
My name is
this
Trisha Takanawa.
This is starring Jason.
Hello.
We also have
Why are we doing this?
We have a Doug.
Hey.
And a Matt also.
Welcome to Fresh Air with Terry Gross.
And we're
canceled.
We're a podcast where we cover internet comedy horrors.
It's all the words were there. They don't have to be in the right order.
The enthusiasm. Exactly. And I'm also
New
Mike.
year, new
I don't
me.
think I even said
You
my
are
name.
Mike.
I did it. I mic'd. I mic'd
Most
the
casual
hardest.
intro ever? Question mark.
Dude,
Least unhinged
you like
intro
that
ever.
shit?
Maybe.
We're gonna have a day today. It's gonna be an interesting day, and here's why. I'm gonna start off with a good old-fashioned diluted.
Clap above your
kick.
head.
Above your head.
Jesus.
You like that?
That was. That made me uncomfortable, if I'm being honest.
Mike worked out once, and he's a whole new man.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
so today
That's
is
right.
my,
That's
yeah,
right.
housekeeping, where I'm gonna go over some shit. So yeah, I want to be a little healthier. I got some news on Monday that I wanted to go into being healthier. Got some news on Monday that was like, I really need to get healthier. Not nothing like bad for, I guess, me, but like it just put things in perspective. You know what I mean? Where it's like,
Yeah.
I gotta, my heart's bad probably. I don't fucking know. I should probably work out so my heart's not bad later on in life.
Okay.
My heart's not bad, but like I'm just saying, like shit happens.
You realize
when you're older.
this is like the most unbelievably ominous sounding
This really
explanation.
is. Okay,
Shit
it's not
happens.
this.
Well, when you get older, it's like
He's like, let me explain this thing that I really can't talk about.
yeah. When you get older, like it's like you realize you needed to be
Your
more
parts
healthy
start
as
changing.
a child. Yeah, you need to be more healthy as a younger adult when you're an older adult. You realize that is what I guess I'm
Matt
trying
looks
to
like
say.
you are literally teaching him about.
But so I told I told them all this, and like Matt's like, you should go running. So I downloaded this app so Matt can track my progress because he's my coach.
I gave you kudos.
Yeah, he gave me kudos, and I ran yesterday. Today is apparently my break day, my rest day, because the schedule thing you sent me
Because
said
I
to
grabbed
rest.
a random couch to 5K plan off the internet and sent it to you, and now this is your whole life.
Yeah, and I'm glad I did it because my ankles are
Bad.
in pain.
Yeah.
I don't think my feet have ever hurt this bad in my life, and I just ran a mile. Not even a mile. It was like 0.85.
0.86 miles.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine trying to run a
What would the
mile.
president say?
not a lot. Child left behind.
I have some housekeeping that is from last week, actually, that we need to address with Jason.
What?
Oh yeah.
Jason,
yeah.
I need you to tell me who Roberto Esquivel Cabrera is.
And why you
And
thought
why
his
he's in
massive
your
foreskin
outline.
was relevant.
Oh my God! That's when I was searching for the first post of the Captain Coochie thing. That's what we're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is apparently there was an ad for Captain Coochie's Key Lime Pie on that website, like a banner ad in that text that you read of the screenshot. That was the text that was in between the two.
Okay,
So
because when you
okay.
look at your notes for the episode, all it
Yes.
is it's the outline, and then suddenly there's just a screenshot of an article about a man with a 19-inch penis that's mostly foreskin.
That's mostly foreskin.
I'm really happy that there was no context for that.
Threw us off.
We're like, what should we be covering for Jason? And then we're like,
I was
oh,
like, is this what Jason's normally looking at in his notes for the episodes?
Honestly, it's not far off. I just get random bursts of like, oh, I should talk about this. Let's just put it in there somewhere.
Speaking of a bunch of foreskins, we have some members to talk about.
yes,
Doug, you have the list for me today.
I
Actually.
do. So, all right, you guys ready to play
Doug list.
bad name or probably still a bad name?
Yeah.
All right,
Name.
cool. The first one is a Patreon that is their name is S.
Oh,
The letter S.
S.
Today's episode is brought to you by the letter S.
For a shit name, get a new one.
Nailed it.
S is for shit name.
Bad. I'm going to dox you. Here's their email. Please send them very mean. Just kidding. All right.
Welcome them to the family.
Yeah.
Yes. Welcome. All right. So
cult, I
our
guess.
next one is meet bald bitches. Wait.
Bald.
Meet bald bitchless balls.
I don't even know what that means.
Oh wait, I said meat because that's what the email said, but it's just bald bitchless balls.
Bald, bitchless balls.
No meat.
No meat.
No meat.
Just bald,
Bald,
bitchless
bitchless
balls.
balls.
I love it. I like it.
I like it.
I'm
That's
a
like
sucker.
a 9 out of 10 for sure.
Usually. Wait a minute.
Alliteration.
Fucking jug of hot cheese is still around. They heard us talk about him on one of the other
Are we
episodes.
gonna
To be
bring
fair,
them up
I think-
every single time?
Yes.
we have
I think we may have just
Until someone has
shouted
a
out
better one.
the same person twice because they both have the same email.
That would explain why Mike only sees one and you see two.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you
Well,
know,
fuck you. I'm taking mine back.
All
Your
right.
name just dropped from a 9 to an 8.
All right. Well,
They were like, wait, I need a better name. Let me resubscribe.
let me
They're
do this
really
again.
gonna cook me for this S name.
cool. Glad we got that out of the way.
I have noted also another thing that I wanted to mention since we're still kind of in housekeeping. We talked about it a little bit ago. I do think maybe like a ketchup episode might be
We were just
in the
talking
works.
about
God,
that.
fucking Bond Skinny
ketchup, like 2 words,
me-
right?
Catsup.
referred messaged us.
Yeah.
Fucking the Skinny Bob people did. We had
Yum.
someone that was
Skinny
part
Bob?
of who joined the Discord. It was someone that was part of and then
the
they
most
left.
recent
Totes-
Oh, the
Tootsie.
Screaming Electron.
Yeah,
The Tootsie, yeah.
All their messages. in
Not to
one.
be confused with Goatsy.
Yeah, we had
You'll
someone
probably
from
find
the
one on
Field
there.
Studies Institute reach out.
Yeah.
So we like in the span of like 1 week, we've had like a decent amount of creators just be like,
What up, dude?"
What's up? So we might want to do a little bounce back to a couple of these.
I think that's a
Yeah.
very good idea.
This
Not those topics
This
specifically.
year has
but-
been good for like just catching up on things and like actually having stuff get solved. So
Hell yeah. There's
Yeah.
a lot of that.
and,
Actually,
and continuations of stuff too. So
you guys want to do that at the end of the year then? Do
Yeah,
like the
no,
yearly.
Okay.
Matt's like,
Where
yeah,
are
I'm
we? Where
here.
am I?
yeah.
I have
Sure.
I have a strunk.
Colabanja.
And there's
Oh,
also a couple bigger topics we covered that are actually have more for us to cover
Yes.
now. So
Gotta go back.
we got a lot of
We got Ash
a lot
Vlogs
Field-
Part 5.
Field
Yeah.
Studies I think started back up another part, but
Yeah,
I wanna-
except it's like there's another part and then like two more entire chapters.
yes, we're gonna give
Yeah.
that a
So
little bit. Of
that's
a
probably just
break.
gonna be like a summary episode.
Yeah.
We're probably gonna be
Yeah.
like, hey.
Yeah.
We're gonna give that one a
That-
break. They already had 3 episodes
Yeah.
dedicated to them.
Also,
You-
like 30 people watched the third part, so
yeah,
hell yeah.
yeah. Multiple parters definitely don't hit as strong as they
Y'all
usually do.
ask us for long ass episodes and then don't fucking watch them.
Well, they
So-
probably get to like the last half of the last part and are like, I think
God damn, wrap it up.
I got it.
Shut the fuck up. God damn
Fucking
it.
got it. Jesus.
Yeah.
Get out of my speakers.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Speaking of talking way too fucking much, what are we talking about today, everybody?
radio. That concludes housekeeping.
here we
no,
go.
so
Here we go.
We're so
Shortwave radio.
yeah. Here we go. Shortwave radio. Y'all get hit with the.
That was a decent, like, sweep noise.
Thank you. Yeah, we're talking about an interesting little thing.
Has to do with
'cause-
ham.
Has to do with ham.
Why didn't you
Kind of,
why didn't you
yeah.
do the
Why would I have done that?
Oh, when you said interesting, you're supposed to.
Oh. I think
Doug's
it's
not thrilled about the
interesting.
topic.
I think it's an interesting topic in general. So
Which
we're
is
talking
interesting
about-
because Doug's always fucking complaining about us not talking about number stations. He's always like, "Oh, let's talk about number stations."
I do,
It all
I
comes
said-
back to number stations, and now we're doing something number stations adjacent. And he's like, "This topic sucks."
I have never in my life ever even said the word number stations.
So if you haven't figured it out yet, we're talking about a number station.
Talking about
specifically.
pigs. Oh,
We could talk about that. We could talk.
can we reserve a little bit of time for?
We'll have plenty of time. Yeah, this topic's pretty short.
Okay.
So we're talking about the Homer is what it's been nicknamed.
The Homer.
The Homer.
Homie.
I need egg for Bartober. So it's called the Homer, and it is a station that tripped a couple people up on the internet
There's
for
a couple stations.
It's a couple stations that trick people up on the
It's
internet
many.
for a while.
It's many.
Frequencies. Many.
Now,
It's a couple couples.
It's like hundreds.
yeah. I in general, like, I thought this was very interesting. There's not like a huge amount of information to this. But I thought it would be an interesting like step into number station stuff if we ever wanted to get there. Because if I'm being honest, a lot of number station like conspiracies and mysteries is just on March 18th, 2022, if you went to station 456 Delta, you heard numbers. That's how they all are. It's just that. So this one at least is a little of a spin.
This is not numbers.
It's not just
It's
0,
words.
1, 2, 1, 2. It's a bit of a different thing, which I enjoy. But
All right.
where do we start with Homer, if not the beginning? Season 1, episode 1.
We got to talk about the first season though on the Tracy Ullman show.
That's true. Or just the first signal, I guess we could talk
New year,
about.
new me.
We could do the first signal. I actually have a copy of the first signal, just hanging out if you want to just hear what it was.
Yeah!
It's directly from it. So this is what we're going to be talking about. This is a signal that was picked up. According to this, it is on station 8051.5. It's USB, and it was posted on, or it was streamed, I guess, on January 6, 2013. Broadcast. That's the word I'm looking for.
You gamer.
Oh my god, I am a fucking gamer. At 4:53 p.m. if you care. But this is what was broadcast on this and many other channels for reasons unknown, I think.
What the hell are you reading books for? What the hell are you reading books for?
What the hell are you reading books for?
You get the idea.
What the
hell are
hell
you eating bush for?
That's
What the hell are you reading books for?
yeah, I read that little thread on that, and I have a few words to say about that, man. But yeah, it seems to be just on repeat. Homer Simpson going, "What the hell are you reading books for?"
Yeah.
Just over and over again.
It definitely, when I first heard it, I feel like you could hear some sort of code coming from it, only because, like, if you notice as that the signal goes on, he says, "What the hell are you reading books for?" And the second time he goes to do it, the first time he would stop at "what,"
Yeah.
and the next time he'll go, "What the hell are you reading books for?" And I say,
What the?"
stop, and it
Or
just
like,
kind
what
of
the hell? Or like, what the hell are you? Or
yeah,
like,
it'll stop at different parts of the phrase,
and then there's a long pause, and then it restarts.
Mhm. So I'm like, oh, there's that's a code. I found a code. I found a code in the
you would-
radio with the Simpson.
You
found a
would, you would
code in
think
the
so. I will say people were very, very weirded out by this. Like, what the fuck is Homer Simpson doing on this? Oh fuck, I have to go look at this, don't I? They figured out what episode it was from.
Season 5.
Season
Episode
5.
19?
Episode 12.
12. It aired in 1994.
Yep.
February something,
It's a
1994.
good
is when it
episode. It's
aired.
when Bart gets a catchphrase and he gets famous and he goes on the Conan O'Brien show
And he needs to read books
to be intelligent.
to be intelligent. Yes.
But overall, it's a fantastic episode. I just watched it not too long ago.
Yeah.
Highly recommend.
So that's where this clip comes from. However, that doesn't explain why the fuck we're hearing it on channel 8051.1 megahertz. Or
I'm
like
glad
what-
you got the channel numbers and everything? Because I didn't.
There's
because
so many.
That shit does not make
I
sense to
spent
me.
so much time Googling and looking through spreadsheets of ham radio frequencies and what they've been identified
Oh,
as.
that's your tism. Got
It is now.
It is
I
now.
knew nothing about any of this prior to looking this up and just spent way too long downloading random PDFs from different websites.
And now
I
Matt's
will
building
say,
his own
going through
shortwave
this
radio.
definitely made me want to like get some device to just like sit there and turn a knob
Yeah.
and like listen to random
Like, just-
radio
oh, yeah.
stations. I was like,
Yeah.
all right.
Okay.
What am I gonna hear? A fart?
Yeah, when this was first heard too, people were stupid and they're like, "Oh, he's saying like, what the hell are you eating bush for?"
That was one of them because somebody on the forum that I found, which is it specializes in these weird frequencies, and it's this whole discussion.
RadioReference.com.
Yes, thank you so
I'm
much.
sorry, RadioReference.com.
Shout out to Token. That's the guy who.
Gotcha. Okay, I was like,
He's the guy that documented all this.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's this huge discussion where that's where they figured out what episode it was from, who was saying it, because when you first hear it, it doesn't exactly sound like Homer Simpson, but as soon as you know it's Homer Simpson, like you're like, oh, that's fucking obvious. So people talked about why this was being played, what was happening here, and then another signal came out. And this is what that one sounded like.
What the hell are you reading books for? What the hell are you reading books for? What the hell are you...
You get the idea. Same thing.
Same thing, but a little bit more clear.
Clear. And
Was that a shit?
it was a shit. It was just a shit.
Was that a fucking
What the
shit?
hell are you reading books
This one
for?
was on 13570 kilohertz is the station. Again, USB mode. This was the day after, on January 7th, 2013. And it was 6 p.m. No, it was right around 4 p.m. I'm sorry. Yeah, it was right around 4 p.m., which is right around the same time the last one was uploaded. But again, this is yet another station, a day apart. Same exact message. Well, I mean, not exact same message, but it's the same words. It's just the pauses that are a bit different. And that's the thing that a lot of people on Reddit, on what was it, Radio Reference, just anywhere you can find discussion about this. People were just kind of tripped up by the different intervals of like the stopping points. And to be honest, that is all I could focus on. It's like, why the fuck are these like cut differently? Like why are they different lengths?
Obsessing over the most minor detail and insignificant, like
Oh yeah.
meaningless.
I was like this, and I was literally like this. This has to fucking mean something. Like there's a reason this is happening. I need to know what it is, and so I spent a solid hour just trying to figure out like, could you convert this? And a lot of people on the forums, they thought that it was Morse code. If you translate the different stopping points as like the the dashes and the dots,
The dats.
and it would just, if that were the case, it would take fucking forever to figure out the actual message that was being played. But I didn't really see if anyone actually followed that rabbit hole to the end. But yeah, that is the first glimpse at what this signal that we're talking about is. It's Homer Simpson saying, "What the hell are you reading books for?" That's all it is.
Merge. Yeah, I mean, so there's a couple different signals that come from this. Jason, can I actually borrow your phone since you're hooked up to the Bluetooth?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to queue up another sound chunk from the YouTube.
You have it in your doc?
Here. Huh?
Is it in your docs?
No, I forgot to put that one in my doc.
Cool.
Yes,
we're
but I know where it is on YouTube.
Okay.
So we're going to do that. Where is your YouTube? I'm an old man. Show me how to get to your YouTube. There it is. Fantastic. So the next one that comes up, there's not a whole lot of information that is built around it, I guess you could say.
Is it the same signal?
My understanding is that the only correlation between this signal and the original signal are the fact that they both contain Simpsons references.
Yes.
That is the only linking event here in my.
So
my
that's
understanding of
actually
this entire
my
thing.
next signal after the one I'm going to
The
talk
JF
about.
Kennedy inaugurals.
Yeah, so there is a signal that don't got to play that right now.
Okay.
Just got it queued up. So the signal, the next one that people are like, does this have something to do with it or does it not? Happened on May 2012, where a signal went out and it played multiple voices, including the Homer phrase, but it also had other people's voices in it, like Tom Jones, for example, was built into it. There were bits from other songs that are built into it as well. People made the guesstimate, I guess you could say, this may not have been part of it because this was broadcast on an AM frequency rather than a USB frequency. But the fact that it played these same clips and it played other
Did it play
clips.
the same clips though?
And so this, we have to take it by word because this one wasn't recorded. Yes. So we kind of have to take it by.
There it is.
Yeah, we got to take it by word here. But apparently, this one that played a whole bunch of other clips played the Homer phrase, the "What the hell are you reading books for?"
What the hell are you eating
are
books
eating
for?
books. But it also played the same clips from other signals that we're going to talk about in a little bit. Now, it could just
okay.
be, a fucking pirate hijacking these frequencies and just digging around, playing random shit from something. I mean, he might have heard this frequency, was like, I'm going to throw that in here because it's going to throw people off. Who the fuck knows? Again, people speculate it didn't have much to do with it because it was on a whole different frequency, but the fact that it had all the same phrases in it kind of keep that one in the realm of possibility. The next one, however, did pop up on it popped up earlier than all of these, but it wasn't really discovered to be related until after the fact. So this one actually popped up in March 6, 2010. I'm going to say that this is the fourth signal, when technically you could say chronologically it would be like the first, because this is the first one to be like recorded in 2010.
Gotcha.
But no one pieced it together with these other frequencies until after they discovered what the hell you're reading books for. So
that first signal is just kind of like the glue that ties a lot of these together.
that's the one that
okay.
got people to find more like it.
Gotcha.
But on March 6, 2010, there was a signal with multiple Simpsons characters being used. A radio station in Newfoundland actually was able to pick these up even too.
Wow.
So not only are these being picked up in the U.S., they're being picked up in other countries as well. Like a lot of the hot spots, I believe, in the U.S. that were picking up these frequencies was like Portland, and like Florida was getting hit with them. I think parts of California were getting
the coasts.
And then you get fucking Newfoundland getting these frequencies. So
wasn't like a handful of them like naval bases?
Yeah, that's a running thing that we're gonna find out. But it's just odd that here's one fucking the Swedes are at it or something.
As they always are.
The voices, and Jason's going to play the clip in a second, but the voices include like Ralph, Flanders, Reverend Lovejoy, Apu. It appeared over like hundreds of frequencies. And then it basically kept playing this bit throughout the night until the next morning when it just vanished. So if you want to go ahead and play it real quick, just a snippet because it's part of another channel. I don't want to copyright strike.
Okay.
You can go on, keep going. I'll let you know when to stop.
That's impossible. Homer, God. Set your house on fire?
Nobody was working in the hearts of your friends and neighbors when they went to your aid.
There you go. So
that's a lot more voices than just Homer.
I know, right? So it's just interesting that this one, like I said, seems like it is the original, but it was hidden all this time. People have not really figured out at this point of time what the fuck any of this means, because at first it was like, oh, we gotta crack what the hell are you reading books for? We might be able to figure that out, but now you're throwing all this into the fucking mix, and then you throw on some Tom Jones as well. I don't know what's going on.
What's new, pussycat?
Sounds like a good fucking night, if you ask me.
It's not unusual.
It's not unusual. But we still have another signal that is out there as well. Mutholomew J. Simpson.
The thing you call him.
Simpsons did it.
Yeah. So there's another frequency, or there's another broadcast that comes into play after this that is also just like tangentially connected to all of this. And this one repeats some phrases that don't have anything to do with The Simpsons at all. And these phrases are, she had your dark suit in greasy wash water all year. Don't ask me to carry an oily rag like that. They used an aggressive policeman to flag thoughtless motorists. And these phrases were logged multiple times over the next few years.
Weird.
So they would
Don't
pop up
ask me.
randomly on different frequencies in different places of the globe. And it was always these same phrases. And
Sounds a little threatening.
So-
Don't ask me to carry an oily rag like that.
yeah. So I don't want to take away from Doug's part. So there's a bit of an explanation for what these phrases are. And Doug can go into that later. But should I go into like what the leading theory of why all of this is together?
I want you
Or-
to, and I hope you were able to explain it because I still don't know what it means.
see, that's the thing. So all of these broadcasts are tied together as best as I can understand by just happenstance. So like we have some transmissions that are tied together by the fact that they're all broadcasting Simpsons references. We have some broadcasts that are tied together by the fact that they've been broadcast on the same frequency. But the thing is, I mean, say one transmission source is broadcasting on a certain frequency and then it moves and then something else comes in. It can broadcast on the same frequency. So I'm not entirely convinced that the fact that these two things were broadcasting on the same frequency at different times are entirely correlates them. But
Doesn't it just mean that
If
two
you
different
look
people
this
had
up-
the like the frequency number? Like they knew what it was? Like that's all it means, right?
it just means that two people set their equipment to broadcast
On the same- yeah.
frequency.
Okay.
Right. So if you look this up, you're going to find one YouTube video that basically goes over everything that we just went over. And you're also going to find the forums that we mentioned earlier, forums.radioreference.com. And then you're going to find another website called Numbers and Oddities, which I had never heard of before, which is super interesting, which releases like a periodic newsletter about different like transmissions that have been picked up on ham radio frequencies. A lot of them are number stations related, and this seems to be the website that people are using as like the source of truth for what this is. And they have tied all of these broadcasts together under one unit known as EV02. And their explanation is that these are just Navy ships or bases broadcasting these like speaking loops over and over again to just calibrate equipment, essentially. But in the digging that I did, I was not actually able to figure out how they came to this conclusion.
Yeah,
So,
that's where I got
like-
confused too. It does that also just doesn't really fucking track to me.
Well,
Yeah, so like the last post in the forum thread that we talked about basically says that this is the reason. But it's just conjecture as far as I can tell. And I can't tell if this forum post is what was used to make the determination that this is the reason why these are all this naval broadcast. So like some of the reasoning obviously as to why these things are tied to this and it's assumed that they're all naval broadcasts is because some of them are broadcast on frequencies that are known to be military broadcasts. But like I said, all of these things are connected together through just kind of coincidence. Like, say there's a military broadcast and it broadcasts a Simpsons reference.
Right.
But then there's another broadcast over here that happens to broadcast the same Simpsons reference or a different Simpsons reference, but people are just assuming that they're connected because of that. It doesn't necessarily mean that all of these broadcasts are military transmissions. That's where this theory falls apart to me.
Well,
Yeah.
And it's the only theory I've actually seen.
yeah, I was gonna mention this one has a very open-ended kind of just thought process to it all, like whatever you look at online. But maybe if I just explain what some of these things are, we can go into like a what we're actually thinking kind of mode.
I want to
think,
go into this.
I think we're all hovering around that right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna go over two different things. The first thing is called, so with these frequency comes, I guess I'm not actually sure what the right terminology is, but the way that these stations are playing these loops are categorized into two different sentences. We've got Harvard sentences, which is going to be an example of kind of like so when we were hearing the like, will you like hold this oily rag and like that stuff, these are actually well-known sample phrases. There's the Harvard sentences. I'm just going to read this verbatim. It's basically Harvard sentences or Harvard lines is a collection of 720 sample phrases divided into lists of 10 used for standardized testing of voice over IP, cellular, and telephone systems. They're phonetically balanced sentences that use specific phonemes at the same frequency as they appear in English. It's a recommended practice for speech quality measurements set out 72 lists of 10 phrases each, described as the 1965 revised list of blah blah blah. It's just a thing that telecommunications use to.
It's essentially like vocal warm-ups.
These aren't
radios.
Harvard sentences, though. These are part of a different set of things that are used for a similar reason.
Right. On I don't know enough. This is above my pay grade. I fucking don't know.
If you look at the Harvard sentences, these are not in that set. These are actually part of something else.
I think I saw the
used for
rag
speech
one in the
recognition.
list, though. I thought. I don't know. It doesn't really matter, but it's basically doing the same thing. I mean, we can only assume they're doing the same thing, I guess. But yeah. So this first set, like I said, with the Simpsons voices, or actually, I'm sorry, the last ones that Matt was talking about, I guess would be lumped
Aggressive
into
cop.
that. Yeah, aggressive cop,
Yeah.
policeman would be lumped into what that is, and then there's another one called a timid sentence, which
That's
is
what these are.
basically. I don't even know.
Is that what you were talking about, Matt?
Yeah, that's what these are part of. These aren't Harvard sentences. Harvard sentences are sentences that are used in telecommunications to calibrate voice over IP systems. The timid sentences are used in speech recognition as a data set used to train or evaluate the accuracy of speech recognition systems.
Yeah, so basically what they were doing is they'd have like a big long sentence, and then they'd like switch someone out mid-sentence, or they'd change it from like male to female. I don't know what these like companies are, but like a bunch of big companies were using this, and like even Texas Instruments was like a part of it.
The
and
calculators in on it.
yeah, basically. Yeah, I had them switched around. But either way, fucking, it was just kind of interesting because they were basically going about this in a sense where like, I'm not sure exactly what the use is for them, but yeah, just switching out the dialect, switching out the like I said, male, female, stuff like that. Just like they'd have one speaker start talking and then like immediately cut off and be a new speaker, whoever it was, male, female, it doesn't matter. But yeah, you had to like
The
buy
idea
into
is
it.
in like voice recognition systems or like speech recognition, you can train a system to understand a certain speaker speaking certain words very, very well. But if you train it to one person's voice too well, and then it changes to, and then you try to run it on someone else's voice, it doesn't work at all because you've overtrained it on one person.
So is it essentially just keeping this algorithm on its toes?
I assume
Yeah,
whatever
well,
it's
Point, just keep it on its
yeah,
toes, switching it up so
I
it never
assume
gets
it's so-
comfortable.
It's
Yeah.
it's a standard testing data set. So like so if you have a speech recognition system and you want to be able to test it on some well-constructed set of data so that you can accurately determine how well it's doing versus another speech recognition system. So they build these standard data sets that can be used to test various systems so that you can assess the accuracy of one system versus another. And so that this Temet data set is a list of sentences that you would use to test your system. And so what you would do is you would basically take recordings or record these sentences with multiple people's different voices, run it through the voice recognition system, and then score how well its output matches the input.
So are these just tests, like the one where they use like multiple Simpsons characters? Is it literally just a test to check it?
Well, those ones would fall under the Harvard sentences, which was slightly different than the Temet.
Wouldn't that be the Temet one because there's multiple different speakers and accents?
See, that's what I think I got confused on that because I thought it was switched around. I thought the Temet ones were the last ones we talked about, and then the Harvard or the other way around. Sorry.
So that's the weird thing, and I think that's why the one YouTube video on this talks about the Harvard sentences, because the use case that's being used here is the original use case that the Harvard sentences were built for. The Harvard sentences were built during World War II so that you could calibrate. You could speak these sentences that were known to be...
It was an interval signal.
Well, they were there. I think the original intent was like you spoke these sentences or broadcast these sentences because they were known to be sentences that if you had a really shitty signal, they'd be difficult to make out.
Okay.
So if you calibrated your transmission system on these sentences, you should be able to assume with some reasonable certainty that it's going to be legible for general speaking purposes. It was basically a testing system for early broadcast systems. And that's why they think that these sentences were being used. But these sentences that are being used are actually part of that Temet data set, not the original Harvard sentence.
What would that have to do with the first one, though, where the what the hell are you reading books for? Because if the whole point is to use
assuming
different
this is all
accents
connected to and like under the same thing.
See, that's why I'm saying this entire connection falls apart for me, is because I don't fully understand why the connection has been drawn between these broadcasts.
Other than they're just
really the only thing they have in common is that they are looping dialogue, sometimes broadcast on the same frequency, and occasionally referencing The Simpsons.
Right. Maybe they're just a super fan.
When I was reading like about Harvard and Temet sentences, I was like, I'm not sure I know which one is which. Like as far as the different signals we're talking about, and I think that just. I mean, this is above my pay grade as far as like what I know about fucking
you don't know
radio frequencies, but like
signal engineering.
When I was looking it up and they're like, this was recorded on frequency 10.852, I'm like, that I'm not even gonna unpack that. I have no fucking clue what you just said.
That's
sir.
at least 3 more numbers than are on my radio.
Well, what got me is they were like, yeah, this was
96.2. I don't.
Yeah, I was reading through it, and they're like, yeah, it was commissioned by DARPA and Corpus Design, a joint effort between the Institute of Technology, SRI, and I'm like, I don't
like how Texas
I don't care anymore.
Instruments is involved.
TI.
Like my fucking TI-84 calculator was sending out frequencies to Russia this whole time while I was trying to do my calculus test.
They were tracking you, man.
Maybe.
They were like, this kid sucks at fucking calculus.
I did not take calculus because I couldn't do.
I didn't either.
What was it? I couldn't do trigonometry.
Yeah.
Trig sucks.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think that this thing was then?
I feel like this was just some like nerdy person, or well, I don't want to say person, but maybe like originally was just some nerdy person like putting out this frequency, using it for something random. People caught onto it, and then I don't know, other people were using it too. I have no idea. I truly have no fucking idea.
I'm a little confused. Like, I don't know why. I don't know why anybody would put this on a shortwave radio. I don't know why anyone would do this unless there's the only purpose I can think of is like something called an interval signal, which this has to do with number stations, and it basically tells you that you're at the right place. Like if you're looking for something, this will like reinforce that you found it. So if you're looking for a station where somebody's saying, "What the hell are you reading books for?" well, then you know you found the correct station, and then whatever plays after that is like whatever is supposed to be on.
Man, what the fuck? What did we cover that had the weird radio station, but only when you were like in a certain proximity? Do you remember what I'm talking about?
Holy yeah.
I have no
Damn.
clue what you're talking about.
It was.
Personally.
It was.
Say that again.
I feel like maybe I'm making this fucking up. I don't even know. I feel like we covered something where a part of the mystery was that this like weird radio station was showing up in like cars, but only in like weird spots.
Yes.
I know. It just like hit me. I was like, what the fuck?
I think
was
that was
that?
in one of our Reddit ones.
There was definitely a multi-topic episode. It just wasn't.
Whatever. That's all.
But I do
that's-
know what you're talking about. I
Yeah.
remember that now.
Are you
That's
sure you're not talking about the TikTok series where all the people disappeared? Where's everyone?
it. Could it,
Yeah, you
it
got
could
it.
have been. I
Where is
truly.
everyone?
No, it wasn't from that. It was from one of our
What are we doing?
Because that was mine. I fucking remember that. That was mine.
I just remember seeing a
I just don't
picture of like
remember
a
exactly what
super
it
old
was.
school car radio, and they're like, "Yeah, I was on like
It's they were
91.2, and like it was playing some."
they were picking
weird-
up interference from. It was like the fucking Coles next door or something. That was it was like their like announcement
They were what?
notifications or something.
They're
They're like
what?
picking up like from like a Coles or something. You know when they're like,
A couple months ago,
Whether
my
like
guitar
what?
amp started playing.
you know, like
Christian-
that. Is that what you wanted? They're
Yes,
they're
that's
picking
what
up
I
like
wanted.
inventory, like radio frequencies or something from them. I know
that's
what you're
neat.
talking about, but that's what
Okay,
it
yeah,
was.
it has
was
nothing.
very mundane.
I just remembered it. That has nothing
Yeah,
to do with this, I guess.
But yeah, I remember that very
A
fondly.
couple months ago, my guitar amp started picking up Christian radio.
Can
Like
amps can do
I was
Yeah.
playing guitar. I was playing guitar, and all of a sudden, my amp started preaching to me, and I freaked the fuck out.
that? Maybe that was God himself.
That was
like,
a sign,
you
bro.
need to turn some shit around.
Yeah.
You should have started jamming with the Lord.
Yeah. Jesus just wanted to belt one out with you, homie. Speaking of Mats, though, what do you think this
Speaking
whole
of
thing
Jesus
is?
Christ,
It makes sense to me that this was somebody broadcasting something to test a system of some sort and make sure that somebody could receive it. Military makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So part of the original transmission is that, or part of the deal with the original transmission is that the first instance of this was heard in Canada, and then later it was heard in the Mojave Desert,
Mhm.
which makes Navy ship make sense to me.
Yeah.
Like
Uh,
it was off
yeah.
the coast of Canada.
Doug
and then it moved.
mentioned this prior, but a lot of these were picked up from
Coasts.
coast and naval
Yeah.
bases.
Yeah.
So
Weird.
that
spoilers.
makes sense.
yeah, I mean,
So I went on a long rant to say why I didn't think that the prevailing theory here made any sense, just to end up back at
it makes sense.
yeah, that makes sense. That makes the most sense. to me.
I think it makes sense, but what keeps it as like a mystery to me is why
Have
the
we said
Simpsons-
anything at all?
Yes.
no.
We said
I
anything.
think that's what kind of gets me going is why would they choose it to be the Simpsons if it was just testing stuff? Because
Because they like
Well,
the
maybe
Simpsons.
that's what they had laying around, man.
well, who just hey,
It's got
who
a
just
lot
has
of clippable media.
who just has Simpsons shit laying around? Who decided on that specific phrase and all these specific phrases? Because some of them are cut up, like the one that has multiple voices. That was edited. That's not just push play on a YouTube video of a Simpsons episode. Like that was multiple different parts of different episodes chopped together.
Maybe they
So
asked
someone-
some new guy to be like,
Edit
and they
this
were like,
Simpsons
hey,
clip together?
they were like, hey, get us an audio clip we can play that has multiple different people saying different phrases, and
Instead
he
of-
was just like, all right, sure, whatever. What do we have laying around the base? We have
Simpsons DVD season
Simpsons. We have
5.
Simpsons season 1 through 5 on DVD.
I mean, that is entirely possible, but I don't know.
What
I
do you
feel
What
like
do you think it is then?
we're
There's enough
pro-
with how you don't think it's any of this works.
We are
What?
pro-
How do you think it works?
Realistically, it is probably the fucking Navy base thing. But
Oh,
in my
okay.
brain, I think it might have just been some, like Doug said, some kid maybe just fucking sending out frequencies just to troll with people.
pirate?
Just to troll around. I don't think it's like a code thing because typically with number station codes or something, it's multiple different phrases or numbers.
Well,
it's not the same phrase over and over and over.
It usually is, and that's simply because that the phrases on the number stations are the interval signals.
I don't know what that means.
Interval signal lets you know you're on the right station if you're looking for it and you know the phrase.
Okay.
So if you were receiving signals from your government, and you're in the military, and you're behind enemy lines or something, because these were around in like World War II. if you were to tune into a frequency and you knew which one to look for, that means you could look for these nonsense.
Yeah, but there's
things.
usually something else to it, right? Like
If
it's a strain of numbers, usually it's not the same 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4
And maybe
1 2 3 4.
maybe
It's
it
usually 1 2
happens.
3 4 5 8 7 2 8 9.
Well, I think typically those are telling you a set of commands, and then once you hear a deviation, you know to do whatever it is they're telling you to do. I think that's the difference. I think what Jason is saying is that this is
There
more
is
of
a code here.
a locating signal
Yeah.
behind its meaning, which would, I guess, make some sense of because
Number
they're
station
testing
shit.
Because
like,
it's shortwave.
but
number station shit makes no fucking sense to me at all.
None of this
everything,
really
I
makes-
actually understand them.
out of everything and anything we'll ever cover, if we cover radio stations like in depth, I am not going to be helpful because I don't understand that shit at fucking all.
I think I
get
think
that
I
it's
get
a
it.
code, but that's all my brain can comprehend.
Yeah, it's like it's a way to use a radio when we didn't have GPS or satellites because World
Like
War II.
TomTom, yeah.
Yeah, nothing like that. It was
Like
a way to
garden-
a way to
garden
make sure you
market.
were still connected to the information you needed to be connected to. I that makes a lot of sense to me. I don't know why it applies to this context though, like at all.
Because the Simpsons.
And
I'm
that's
my
everywhere.
name Bart, but I ain't a Simp, son. You know what I'm saying?
Oh.
So I thought it would be fun if we all kind of found,
If this isn't fun, I'm gonna kill you.
if we all found, oh god, the pressure's really on. If we all found
sweating there, buddy.
other radio stations or other examples that we might have been able to find for each other to kind of play that are not necessarily Simpsons themed, but just radio station mysteries or stuff. I found one. May I play mine?
Yeah, if you want.
Okay.
for it,
I sent my outline. Can you open up my outline bit?
Yeah, let me exit this. Hold on.
Now this one is scary for a big reason, and I'll show you what.
You
The
don't keep
fuck am I looking at here?
you don't keep your outlines in the drive anymore.
Yeah, I do. It's right here. Like Homer. Oh, it's in the docs. It's in docs.
There.
You found it? Okay.
Yeah.
It's all
Is
the
it
way
the-
down. It's the last.
This is going great.
This is doing.
know, right?
You
Okay.
guys enjoying all this? This is
So
behind the scenes.
before, I just want you to listen to it. You could just play the whole video. Well, not the whole video, but play the video out. And I'll explain what it is. Okay, so that's just a small clip of it. The whole thing is about 2.5 minutes long. Now, take into consideration what you just heard, and let me give you a little bit of a backstory on it. Now, this isn't necessarily a shortwave, like someone just heard this over like the radio coming from a tower or anything. No, what this was there were two guys in the 1960s. I believe it was May of 1960. And they were hanging out listening to radio frequencies,
Shit.
and they picked up on this frequency. Deciphering it, they found out it was a Russian woman, and she was saying in that frequency, they noticed she was distressed, and they were able to translate some of it into things like, "It is hot here. I can see flames. I'm breaking up. Why are you not responding? Where is my transmission? It's
like
getting
they're-
very hot."
ghosting their GF or something.
Well, no. What this is this is audio of a document called The Lost Cosmonaut, and
This is really upsetting, Mike.
it is very upsetting. This is the recording of a cosmonaut woman in the
Whoops.
1960s who was basically the Russians sent her up.
Oh no, I don't like this.
Yeah.
Russians sent
no,
her up. It was
this is bad.
It was hidden from the public. No one knew about this. The only reason people found out was because these two guys caught this audio. And this is a woman of her ship coming back in, resurfacing, and basically exploding while entering the atmosphere.
And they just like said, "Fuck it, we're not helping you anymore." Which
Yeah,
is why
Russia gave up on this woman,
Yep.
and that's why she's saying things
Man.
like, "It's getting hot. I see flames."
Sounds
She even
like most of
mentions,
these
Where are you?
re-entering. She mentions, "Where are you? Where are my transmissions?" And in that as well, they're able to. I I couldn't hear it in that frequency, but they were giving like transcripts of like what they were saying back to her a little bit. Maybe they were using context clues or something, but you do hear like her saying something.
This is a whole fucking thing.
Yeah, you hear her saying things like, is this going to hurt? Is this painful? And they're just like, yep, it's not going to be fun. And she died. And no one knew about it. The records for this was found again. It was like May, I believe, of 1960. And like, I want to say 2 or 3 days after this was found and documented, the Russians put out a document saying that a quote unquote unmanned satellite burned up in the atmosphere. And that satellite was the size of a bus. And basically that was a fucking lie. It was not unmanned. There was a woman in there. There was a cosmonaut in there who fucking burnt up in the atmosphere and died. And these are essentially her last words, pleading for help from the Russian military.
A man named Julius Epstein wrote about it.
That's a little too close for my comfort.
Just saying.
Are all of these going to end up being Russian related?
It's entirely possible. A lot of
The
them
one that I'm looking at
come
is
out to
Where
be
the vast
Russian.
majority of these come from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
100%.
again, that wasn't
your shit
necessarily
together,
coming
Russia.
from a radio tower, but I thought that was the fact that some guys were just able to pick that up on their fucking ham radios. And
That's
then,
fucked, is what that
and
is.
It turned out being this is
It's literally listening to some lady dying
Dying.
as she re-enters the atmosphere.
terrifying to me. What do you
Sick.
got, Jason?
Do you guys know what the Lincolnshire poacher is?
Wow.
Oh.
No.
Go ahead, Matt. Do you have something that's
No.
closely related?
No.
He's
No.
like, no, fuck off, no.
I just said wow.
So the Lincolnshire poacher is a number station. And we've mentioned
How about that?
number Prove it, you bitch. We've mentioned number stations multiple times. I figured why not just let people hear what the fuck this sounds like. So this is a well-known number station broadcast channel known as the Lincolnshire Poacher. And the reason we know it's the Lincolnshire Poacher is because it comes complete with an interval signal telling you as such, because it uses a few bars, like random bars from a song. I forget what the song is. Oh, the Lincolnshire Poacher is the name of the English
Cool.
folk song. Here it is. There it is.
Did the fucking ice cream man come through?
I fucking hope so.
the ding ding man.
I was gonna do the creepy spaceflight sounds on the outside of the space plane one, but
Yeah, I do want people to look that up.
That's a good one,
TLDR.
too.
And
Are you
this
talking
was
about
like,
the newest thing?
Yeah, this
Yeah.
was like
Yeah.
last week or some
Yeah.
shit.
They determined it though. They did have.
Allegedly. Yeah,
Right.
look it up because it's creepy.
just
'cause,
like they promised that there's no aliens.
yeah, some
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
like ISS
I believe
dudes
them.
were just
Yeah.
like, hey, we're hearing some weird sounds. Can you hear it, command?
At
And
first they're
it's
like, no.
They're like, no, and they're like, okay, hang on a second, and they like get it closer, and you just hear like, boom, boom.
Bong.
Yeah, it's like heartbeat.
Yeah, like sonar almost.
Yeah, and they're like, it sounds like
Bong.
sonar, and they're like,
And then
everyone's
everybody
just
died.
like, it's probably your equipment being funky.
We'll let you know,
Like
but
182 song.
But,
it
no,
sounded
you're
like
good.
the dude that like at mission control was literally just going like, yeah, okay, and he's
Yeah,
just like doing the
exactly.
jerk off motion.
It definitely sounded like a sonar heartbeat. It was like,
Yeah,
dong,
that was a
dong.
creepy one. But after years, I decided to go with a much happier one.
The ice
Somebody
cream
lit their lights on and opened the door.
Doug, what you?
Actually, I need you to look this up, but I'll explain it. So this is called the buzzer.
Oh, yeah, I
this
like the
one's
buzzer.
this one's pretty well known. But this noise is actually transmitted on a radio station since the 1970s, and it's still going today. Literally, this station records a sound of a buzz like literally all day and all night, and then like once or twice a week it gets interrupted by like some random man.
Oh, and that didn't start happening until the 90s.
Right.
That's the freakiest part. It was. I looked into this one too. I was about to do this one, but from like the 70s to the 90s, it was just this buzzing noise, and then randomly some people just heard it, and it was just like a fucking Russian voice, and that's how they were just like, oh shit, it's the Russians, because they had no idea who was producing it before.
Yeah, this clip too should be the buzzing and the actual voice message. So before we play it though, I just wanted to finish just kind of explaining it. People really don't know what this is, akin to number stations. They think it's probably a Russian military thing. They call it a monolith format message, which is like a 5-digit group of numbers followed by like code words to like call, like to basically reach out to a call sign of someone. I don't know enough about it to explain more than that, but that's what people think this is. I just thought it was interesting because like seriously, like the same radio frequency has been playing the same thing since 1970.
I think it's still going too.
Oh,
There's a live YouTube channel that just plays it all day.
Yeah.
So you can actually go and like, it's called the Buzzer UVB-76. That's like what it's called.
so that the Lincolnshire poacher, the one that I just played, that one was it started World War II, and it stopped playing.
It started World War II.
Yes.
Oh shit.
It started
It
broadcasting.
killed Archduke Ferdinand. I know
this
that was
radio
World War
signal.
One.
Yeah. But no, so it persisted through the Cold War, and then it finally stopped broadcasting 20 years after the end of the Cold War.
Wild.
But it started before World War II. So like, for whatever reason, these fucking signals stay on the air. Would you like me to play what?
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
let's take a peek.
This is what Doug's talking about.
Николай, Женя, Татьяна, Иван. Николай, Женя, Татьяна, Иван. 82 890. Женя, Анна, Николай, Роман, Ольга, Николай, Анна, Цапли, Иван. 13 68 06
I
04.
don't understand any of that.
Yeah, I mean,
So I looked into this one pretty fairly. So that didn't show like the buzzing sounds, but the buzzing sounds don't play as regular. Like they play on like they'll go for like 2 minutes, pause for 2 minutes, go for 2 minutes, pause for 2 minutes. But like there's a couple fascinating things about the buzzer one. First off, the buzzing itself, people don't think that that's part of like a code. They think it might be part of like a like how you're saying it's what you look for on a signal to get the code.
The interval signal.
The interval. People think that's an interval signal. I don't think it has anything to do with the code at all. Secondly, because of the way that in the early 2000s, I think it was, there was a day where it went silent for full 24 hours and then it booted back up and it switched. There's a voice change as well. So people were able to confirm that this radio station isn't just broadcasting like signals. It's coming from like a stereo being played into a microphone. So there's a live microphone
God.
playing this signal and shooting it out.
Yeah,
so they
what
can make
the-
changes on the fly.
it's literally
Oh,
it said
okay.
it's at like an abandoned fucking radio station in St. Petersburg, Russia. So
yeah,
like,
but the freaky thing is it
It isn't the theory that a lot of this shit was set up during the Soviet Union,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
when it, like during the collapse of the Soviet Union, a lot of this shit just got abandoned and they just left it fucking running.
Yeah,
and
but-
it's just sitting there continuing to do.
a big theory with that one because of the fact that it is I don't know if it has anything to do with it, but I just thought it was interesting that like there's just a live microphone that is what's broadcasting all this. The other freaky thing that people think this is they think it's kind of like a what's the word I'm looking for? First and foremost, the Russian in it is the call sign.
Call
tag.
sign. The
And-
interval signal is the
and
beginning.
In the 90s, they heard the name of it. That's what they started calling it. And then a couple years later or whatever, it did a new call sign. So that was the new name of the frequency.
Gotcha.
But people think that this was like an old Soviet thing, kind of like a what's the word I'm looking for? Like a fail safe, where if some shit goes down, this frequency can trigger like a nuclear launch somehow.
Oh God.
Oh.
Yeah, it's something with
Sweet.
the frequency and how far it's extended or something. People think that this could be
Like a dead
some form
switch.
of a fail-safe, last resort, shoot a missile at someone thing.
you know.
It's connected to Vladimir Putin's heartbeat.
Yeah.
Oh God,
That's what you're hearing. It's just
that's the kill switch.
he doesn't have a beat. It's a buzz.
Yeah. But I looked up a relative decent amount into that one, which is funny that you bring up the buzzer because
That's
I
a good one.
thought it was a fun one.
I've heard of that one before, and I was like, "Fuck it, let's go."
Why not?
Moot, you got one for us?
Mine's a lot simpler. So this, I'm gonna just drop it in the chat. This recording comes from a number station called E10, which ran from sometime in the 60s or 70s until about 2011, and it comes from it's broadcasting from somewhere in Tel Aviv, and people think it's connected to the Israeli special ops, like spec ops folk. And the reason why this particular broadcast stood out to me is it's in the format of most of the other messages that come from this station, which is just a automated woman's voice speaking the phonetic alphabet. So she'll be like tango, echo, whatever. But at the very end of this one, there's just the Windows XP shutdown. So it's just like bing, dang, dang, ding.
Would you like me to play it?
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Sure. We don't have to listen to that.
Tango, Alpha, Romeo, Tango, message, group,
This is pretty much what it is all the way up to.
Yeah, you can skip to the last 5 seconds.
All right, here.
Oh, you missed it.
Damn it!
Sierra, Sierra, Foxtrot.
She was just like, all right, it's 5 o'clock. All right, shut it down. I did my job.
That's pretty great.
Yeah, there's a lot of number stations out there. The reason that I don't really find number stations all that interesting is because most of the theories for every number station is the exact same fucking thing. It's always used by government for spies, which makes sense. But where's the fun in that?
It also
They're all
doesn't
the same
tell me
thing.
anything.
Now, a fun one, or I guess an interesting one, is probably apparently it's the most well-known and dangerous signal. It's called HM 101, or the Cuban lady is what it's called. And apparently Cuban is a big part of starting a bunch of geopolitical problems.
The Havana signal?
No, not Havana signal. It's
But it's called the Cuba lady.
Cuban lady, yes, because it's literally just a lady with a Cuban accent just doing numbers. But
Just doing a little numbers.
but around, I don't know the whole story behind it, but apparently around the time that was found, a couple days later, all this government chaos started going with multiple different agencies and different countries. So people think that this spawned a lot of government problems. I don't know much about it because I was just it's another fucking spy number station thing. But I guess it's the big one because if you look up number station and top 5 creepy number stations, most of them have this Cuban lady.
Cuban
thing
lady.
in it. Yeah.
Radio Havana accidentally exposes itself that it runs the Cuban lady number station.
Shit.
Well, that was a quick mystery.
You're welcome. Next.
Wow, we're really good at this.
Holy shit. Fucking solved. That's a job well done for the day. I think this is the first thing we've solved.
So I saw the name of that, and then I just clicked on it, and the first comment on the whole post was, "Man, they run a sloppy operation over there."
Can we just have an episode where we get 100 topics and we just Google and this is the mystery
This is
solved. Next and
Quick mystery.
This is what it
How
is.
many we can get
Solved.
through in 60 minutes?
100 stories
speed
in
dating
an hour.
internet mysteries.
speed dating internet mysteries.
We just read the title of it, and then we go, wrong, fake, and real,
Yeah.
and fake.
His brother did it.
Yes,
Yeah, it
bro.
was just a quick how it happened.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, I think we covered this relatively good. If people want us, let us know if you want to hear number stations. I mean, I'll do it.
We're going to do it.
I'm a slut. I'll
You
do
say
what
you're
the
going to
people
do it
ask.
like you have a choice.
Yeah, I'll do it if people want, but don't make me. Jason.
I don't know. I know that there's probably some just like really boring reason behind most of them, but they still creep me out.
Yeah.
I still think they're scary. I
love-
don't like listening.
I
to them.
have.
They unnerve the shit out of me.
I
that's
have
for
a
sure.
memory, and I
Yeah.
can't tell if I'm making this memory up because all the shit that we talk about. But I have a memory of me coming across a number station briefly. But again, it could just be me making things up in my brain.
You
False
remember? No,
memory.
that's that. The VHS with Raffi teaching you to count is not a number station.
Oh, bet. All right.
It was just the count.
Gotcha. Yeah.
1, 2.
The guy was dressed like Dracula, of course. It's all real.
That's exactly. If you're gonna okay, anybody listening to this, if you're gonna start up a number station for any
Use the
reason,
count.
you just use the count.
Yeah.
please.
1,
1,
5, 17.
the number of the day.
Also, if you want us to cover number stations and you have fun topics on that you want us to look into, post it on
yeah.
the comments.
Yep. I'm gonna go ahead and just say visit us on all of our places. You can find all of our links to all of our socials and whatnot in the linktree, linktree.com/DelutiPod. Also our website, deludi.com.
Just Google Deluti.
Just
Google
visit
Deluti.
us
We're
in our
fucking everywhere.
places.
We're literally whatever app you are on.
We're in the Red Robin
search,
app.
Yeah, search Deluti or don't look under the internet. We'll pop right up. We're even on
DoorDash.
Threads. No one's on Threads, and we're on Threads. So
That's why no one's on Threads.
I went on Threads, and people are just like, what's a fork? And I'm like, I got to get out of here.
I can't do this.
Just a culmination of the dumbest people you've ever seen.
People are like,
in your
is this
entire
puppet real? And I'm like, are you what?
Yes.
Was Pinocchio based off a true story? Is
Yes.
this bullet gonna go in my face now?
Yes.
Yes. So all I'll have to say is look us up everywhere. We're everywhere. If you want to send us a voicemail, send it to our Google phone number. It's 630-909-9366. You have to let me say it once.
I did.
630-9... fucking whatever. Figure it out, I
They'll
guess.
piece
They
it
won't let me
together.
do it. So leave us a voicemail. We'll play it at the end of the show. Text us. We'll text you back. It's fun. Inquiries. Notice I used the right word there.
You did.
DelutiPod@gmail.com. Also, something else to send to that email. Hometown Horrors.
Yes.
So for the entire month of September and into some of October.
Most of October.
What we want you to do, it's this easy. This easy. Don't forget, it's this easy. Go to our email, delutipod@gmail.com. Send us an email. Make sure the subject line is Hometown Horrors 2024, and then put
Because we already
your
got
name.
one that didn't have that in the title.
And
So
put your name. I guess your name isn't even needed, but just put Hometown Horrors 2024. That way we can search all these emails and find
Yeah.
everything simply, and we can read it off on the show. If you don't do that and you're shocked that
we might find it, but
if you don't do that and you're shocked you don't hear it on the show, that's on you.
Mike did it on principle alone.
Yep. But
He
make
said,
sure you do that
"Fuck
again.
you."
Send it to our email. Subject line Hometown Horrors 2024. Thank you very much. I would also like to say you should go ahead and if you hear number station, it's probably me giving you a code to tell you to go kiss your dad. You should do it.
Well, now they
because
don't have
the
to
code,
listen.
No, but you want to listen because the code is going to be a bunch of.
Different accented.
Mwah! We can't say that. That's all I got. Jason.
Stay paranoid. There's a lot of frequencies out there. Who knows who's saying what on any of them. If you need a hobby, just go buy a shortwave radio and just start scrolling through the channels. Hang out on radio reference. It's a lot of very dedicated individuals over there. But mainly, don't ever listen to the radio ever again.
Turn the radio off.
Forever.
Stick to YouTube and Pornhub.
There's some pollen tomorrow. Sorry.
There's some pollen tomorrow. Calm down, ADD. I'm sure we're closing out.
We're almost done. I'm so sorry.
I wasn't notified of no pollen. Fucking, I don't know. I guess if you can figure out a way to like choreograph slapping peens and beans to number stations, do it.
Great. And
what does that? I don't.
Mooty Matty.
Don't send us those videos at all. So I don't want to know.
Wow.
Goodbye.
Wow.
Matt.
This has just been such a pleasure. I'm such a lucky boy. I can't wait to go home.
Was that your Timid sentence?
Yes.
Yes, it was.
A timid haiku.
Someone just got
Train
like
your
activated.
speech recognition system on that.
Yeah, someone just got activated by that
Bitch.
phrase Matt just said.
Naomi just walks out of the room.
Yeah.
Kill
Say a
John
word.
Lennon.
Love everybody. Bye, everybody. Have a day. Bye. Have a beautiful night.
5, 12,
Bye.
19. Pork. Okay.